We're back with another edition of Cybersecurity Heads Up with Mr. Blake Schwank, the owner of Colorado Computer Support, our technology partner here at Mount Carmel Veteran Service Center's Veterans Voice. Some of this technology that you're seeing around you is all because of Blake. And Blake, we can't thank you enough for that partnership. You have been a traveling man. You've been busy.
Yeah, it's been a little bit busy. Been to Chicago and London and Paris. We did a little family vacation over to Paris, and it was awesome. I'd never been to Paris, and we really had a good time. And so came back from that, and 3 days later went out and golfed with Sal and Bob and down in Pueblo, and had a lot of fun supporting you guys down there too for the golf tournament.
That was Mount Carmel Veteran Service Center's Pars and Patriots golf tournament. And it was a success, thanks to guys like you. There was a great turnout, and you said the weather was pretty much ideal.
Oh, the weather was beautiful. So it was sunny. I'd never played down there. The course was green. You know, we've had a lot of rain here. I feel like I'm back at Fort Lewis, and but took a buddy of mine that was a veteran, one of my employees that was a veteran, and another employee, and they got to meet Mount Carmel and connected. The golf buddy of mine with Bob McLaughlin, and we're going to go do some other stuff together. So
now, I know you've got a good size following out on YouTube. These videos are getting 5,000 plus views, which is a wonderful thing. If you're just meeting Blake for the first time, he's a veteran himself, very veteran friendly company. You got guys in other countries doing their thing for you. So it's Colorado Computer Support, but you don't limit yourself to the boundaries of Colorado.
Right. I should have named it something else, but you know, we also go by CCS IT professionals. But yeah, we have clients in several states. Like you said, Stephen is over in Germany. They PCS to Kaiserslautern last fall, so now we have someone that carries the night shift 4 days a week. And I was just on my way over here having a Teams message with him and learning about the challenges he's getting into living on the economy in Kaiserslautern. So the washer and dryer are different, and but I don't feel too bad for him. He gets to have good pretzels and beer, and tour the countryside.
The best pretzels and real beer.
Yeah.
Beer with body, beer with cream in the head, beer,
Exactly.
Only as the Germans can do it.
Right. So I need to I brew my own beer, so I need to work on some of the recipes and do it better.
Have him bring you some of those nice German hops over here.
Oh yeah, exactly. So sounds like a good plan.
Just have him mail them to you. Yeah. Spent a couple of years in Germany when I was a kid. We were deployed there. Dad was stationed in Heidelberg for a couple of years, and I got to tell you, the thing I remember most, aside from the pretzels, is the chocolate.
Oh yeah, the chocolate's good too. So we found that in Paris. The chocolate in Paris we went into a place that the guy had trained 6 years on how to make chocolate, and it looked like we were walking into a jewelry store. I mean, all the chocolate was under glass, and you had to ask for help. And it wasn't like in America where you just go dip your hand into the bin or go to the grocery store. And
so no Safeway chocolate covered pizzas or peanuts in France.
Exactly. And so and in Paris all around was just a great place. Did you make it there as a kid?
I think parts of my family did. I'm not sure I was around yet when they were there, but they did make the Leaning Tower of Pisa. I mean, in the family slideshows, we've got two of my sisters standing on the upside of the top tier of the tower when you could still do that. I don't know if you can still go up there, but in those days you could. We're talking the late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah. About 6 years ago, we went over there, and you could climb up part of the Leaning Tower.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I think I can probably find that slide. So.
Yeah, the slide.
It's real.
An actual slide that goes in a slide machine.
Dad took us pictures and converted everything to slides. Yeah. So he shot with rangefinder film cameras. I mean,
Yeah. Have you converted those to digital yet?
No, they're still all on slides and carousels and in a safe place. But so that's where they are.
You need to convert those. So I went. You can take them to Costco. I went out on eBay. I bought a high-end slide converter. Went through all my parents' slides, saw all of their history. Really cool photos from Vietnam and Thailand and stuff. And a lot of family history we wanted to preserve. But I just spent the weekend going through all of his slides, and then turned around and sold it on eBay for a couple weeks later and made my money back, because there is a demand for those, and they work great just to do it on your own.
Gosh, imagine the history tucked away in people's closets still, in negatives and in slides. I mean, in my own world, I have thousands and thousands of negatives because Dad made me be bitten by the photography bug. I'm just an amateur, but I love doing it. It's just being out.
Yeah.
And it's focusing just on that. And so everything I shoot is in manual mode, because a camera, even though it's a DSLR and it'll do everything for you, it's a box with a hole that lets light in, and you should have control over that.
Yeah. So taking a little more step back in time, so it's cool. So we, when we were in Paris, we went on a walking food tour. And so we met up, it's called Paris by Mouth. And it was a 3.5-hour tour. We went through a bakery, a cheese store, the chocolatier, went wine shopping, and it was fantastic. But there was this couple that just got married, and he was from Ireland, she's from America. They live in New Zealand. But he was carrying a Nikon 35 millimeter film camera, and and actually developing the film. He's got a dark room at home and stuff. So, but these guys were 30. And then we met up with my sister-in-law and her son and his girlfriend, and they were late 20s, and he had, my nephew and his girlfriend had a Polaroid camera with her and was taking all these Polaroid shots. So it seems like the kids, can we call 30-year-olds kids?
You and I can.
Yeah. So these 30-year-old kids are moving away from, I mean, they're still taking all the iPhone shots, but they like the vintage end of the photography spectrum as well.
iPhone cameras are insanely good these days.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I just upgraded to something with 3 lenses and portrait mode and all the different things you can do with it now. And I took it with me to the Air Force Academy graduation and got some shots that I just really love. Because the camera is clear and sharp, and it does the HDR stuff just right. I mean, and of course the lighting conditions were perfect the night before and even the day of. There was no harsh lighting to speak of, which is always a big help. But goodness, it does better than my Nikon D300 sometimes.
Yeah, well, and I
just dated my
camera. I had a Canon F1 back in the day.
Yeah, and
you look at those prints, and they were phenomenal for the day.
Yeah,
but now it's almost like you don't have the super long range finder or telephoto lens that you can get on when you spend thousands of dollars on a lens. But for your average photo, I mean, it's really good now what I can get on this. And I've got the 3-camera iPhone 2 sitting up there.
Good stuff. Always good stuff. And now, we're talking about going retro, which is why you see people going back to film and people doing the Polaroid thing. There's a whole art form in it.
Yeah.
There's a whole look and feel to the Polaroid stuff where, you and I were wiping the chemical on it and waving it back and forth, and they got rid of that. It was just peel and let it dry. And, by and large, they were pictures. I have 1 million of those myself. Mm-hmm. Do you have some of those in your collection?
I never had to wipe any chemicals on it.
Oh, at one point, yeah. When some of the early ones came out, yeah.
Now in high school, I did have, on the yearbook committee, I was a photographer, so I had the dark room at Air Academy High School, and we'd go in there and actually process film and stuff. And so,
wasn't that all black and white still back then that you were processing on your own?
We had color in my day. What are you saying?
Well, I remember the first color television on my street in Augusta, Georgia. That was before anyway.
Well, you remember all the TV shows would come on.
Yes.
Now in Technicolor.
Yes.
And so I remember that. So.
Yeah, and the NBC Peacock was one of the things that they really.
Yeah. But we did shoot a lot of black and white film, but we also shot a lot of color. So.
My brother had a dark room in our basement, and he shot little things with black and white. I mean, we did pinhole cameras. We had the Brownie cameras around. We covered a lot of those bases during the early days of the wave of innovation and evolution of shooting cameras. And then, I was big into the Instamatic thing. It was always, Mom always bought me the little cassettes and dropped them in, run around with my Kodak 110 Instamatic and shoot pictures of everything. And I could never wait for them to come back in the envelope and go through.
Yeah. And how much did it cost to process them, though?
I don't remember.
$5 or $10, I think, for a roll of 36. And
back in the day, $5 or $10 was a couple hours of somebody's work.
And you had the bulb on top that would turn.
Yeah, the flash cube.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And your little crank thing would turn the flash cube. If I wasn't big on flash cubes, I was outside shooting pictures of Volkswagens going by as fast as I could catch up with them.
The Volkswagen
Beetles, Volkswagen convertibles. Everything was a novelty to me when I was looking at it through a camera.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's
so you had a Volkswagen,
Dad gave me that bug.
I had a Volkswagen Combi, a Volkswagen pickup.
Really?
Double cab.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've got pictures of it. I should share with you. So,
yeah, I would love to see
shot
that.
with the F1. So.
Okay. So we just officially relegated ourselves to fossil status.
We are. It's the old guys' morning coffee show talking about old things.
The golden age of photography, a Kodak Instamatic,
photography, old Volkswagens. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So the next thing we'll be talking about rotary phones.
Well, we had them, and I just was, we just did a show here on Veterans Voice of sort of a guide to PCSing, because this is the season. People are moving all over the place, right? And back in the day, and I'm talking about my day, maybe even a little bit before you, we're not all that far apart, but the thing you did was you took the phone off the wall and you put that in a box with a couple of other essentials, and that box wound up on the top of the pile, so that the first thing that happened when you got to your new digs was you put the phone on the wall.
Yeah, if you were not renting it from the phone company, which was a thing back then too.
That was also the thing. You could not own that stuff. You could only lease it. Yeah, for a long time that was the case. I think it wasn't until the 1980s when you could start actually owning your own phone stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, we thought we were we thought we were rebels.
Yeah, that whole PCS thing. Oh, that was a while ago, but yeah, you had to have that first box of stuff ready that had your things, and
and
then hope the movers didn't pack the cat and a thing of food.
And it was $3 extra a month to have the push button phone with the tones. Yeah. Otherwise, it was. I mean, 911 back in the day was a 7-digit phone number, and you waited. So.
Well, the worse than that was if you tried to win a contest. You pulled over on the side of the road at 7-Eleven and you did the so.
But you dialed 6 of the numbers, and you held on, and as soon as you heard the cue, you let go on number 7.
Yeah.
And you hoped you were one of the first people that got into call
to win concert tickets. Something.
Gosh, how many of us did that? Yeah. You could get away with a lot of stuff with rotary phones, and nobody on the other end knew who you were. Then Star 69 happened.
Yeah.
Then we started getting in trouble for making crank calls. The last thing you wanted to have happen was your parents answer the phone after you messed with somebody over their refrigerator.
Yeah, is the refrigerator running?
You better go touch it.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, how did we survive our childhood?
I don't know. We did.
So. Yeah, and you wound up in the military. 22 years later, you're out, right? No, how many years?
No, it did 11 years.
11 years. Okay, it's CCS that's 22 years old.
And then Colorado Computer Support is 22 years old. Started in 2001 with my wife. So went after the .com bust. We became unemployed. So worked for a software company for a while. And have grown it to where we are now, which is, it's been a fun journey. So sometimes a little bit stressful. Sometimes most of the time, a lot of fun.
Well, yeah, and folks who are not in that business, but who depend on your business to keep their businesses going, or their their computer lives straightened out, depend a lot on the videos that you do, which is one of the reasons I brought that up. And then your marketing team also does a 2-minute every. Let's see, you do the Saturday update.
Yeah, we do a Cyber Saturday update. So business,
and you could
cybersecurity,
be anywhere when you
personal.
do that.
Yeah. What's that?
You do those from the trails sometimes when you're out hiking or running. You do them from. I think you did one from Chicago recently.
I did a couple from Chicago. Did a couple from Paris. I've done them from Germany and London and all over the place. And
they fall into a couple of classes. One of them is kind of let's be super safe and secure, a big news update, something that's gone on in your world that you want to share with people. And then marketing team, they do them on tips and tricks for things like Word docs and how to navigate Microsoft Excel and how to, shortcuts for your computer. All very useful information. It's all available at YouTube.
Right. So we have a YouTube channel out there. It's YouTube, I think, Colorado Support, but you can just search for Colorado Computer Support. And yeah, it's Tuesday Tech Tips on Tuesday. And that's very lightweight things that really help people out that people don't think about. How do you lock your phone from rotating? Or how do you, do something in Word? Or how do you take care of your computer? Little things like that. Easy to digest, a couple minutes. And so you can go subscribe there and check it out. My Cyber Saturdays are usually, they're easy to digest as well. It's not deep technical cybersecurity stuff. It's the basics of what businesses and what people can do to secure their data. This last week, it was on a breach from a company called Reventix. And Reventix does medical billing for hospitals and other medical practices. And they got breached. They discovered they had a breach back in December where somebody came in, accessed the patient data, and were able to extract over 250,000 records. And, it's stuff like social security numbers, date of births, addresses, medical information, diagnoses, any procedures that they had. All of that kind of stuff is what they were able to exfiltrate from this company. And so 250,000 people got a letter in the mail from them going, so sorry this happened, and here's some steps you should take.
So sorry this happened.
Mm-hmm. And it took
your data is floating around out there about some super sensitive, deeply private stuff that somebody could get a hold of and wreck your life with.
Exactly. And they could take this data. They can, just the medical data is bad enough to have out there, because then there are certain things that they can do to, create fake accounts with you and get healthcare and stuff. But with that birth date, social security number, addresses, all of that, they can stand up a credit account under your name and destroy your credit. They can go get a loan in your name and buy a house, buy a car, whatever, and you have no knowledge of it until the next time you go open up try to get a loan, try to get a credit card, and they're like, sorry, you've got credit of 300 instead of, because the credit report goes from, I don't know what the bottom end is, but it's bad, up to 850. And you really want to be 700 to 850 if you want to go open up a credit account without being taken advantage of the people that, go after the people with bad credit. Then you have really high interest rates and all that. But with this kind of stuff, you don't know until they've done it. They've gotten a loan in your name. They're driving around a car. They're pretending to be Ted Robertson, and they have a really nice new car because Ted's got a credit score of 820 or 830, and so they can go buy whatever they want.
Yeah.
And you don't know about it until 3 years from now when you go to buy a house and find out your credit's 200.
There generally are ways to find out, though, if you're willing to invest a little time. Isn't that right, Blake?
Yeah. So first thing is everybody should, if you're not out there buying something right now, I would recommend you go to the 3 credit bureaus: Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. And you can go find them all online, and you want to make sure you go to the valid sites. I'm sure there's scammers going after people looking for Experian and TransUnion, but make sure you go to the official sites. And you can find them through the ftc.gov has a site. ftc.gov has a lot on maintaining your personal privacy and security of your credit data. But if you go to each one of these, you can go into for free and put on a credit freeze. They all offer monitoring that you can pay for, but you can just freeze your credit, and then nobody can open up a credit card, buy a car, buy a house, or anything else, because when they go to TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, they'll say, sorry, we've got a freeze on that credit. If you want to go buy something then you go to each one of these bureaus, log in, and it takes, I think it took me 15 minutes this weekend to do it for one of our kids. And you log in there, you turn off the credit freeze, and then you go buy your car, you get back home, you log back in, you turn back on the credit freeze. It's just a little bit of a hassle, but it protects you from that happening. And so that's probably the number one thing to do.
Yeah, there's the full credit report that the services are required to send you once a year in hard copy if you want them snail mailed. But just like you said, you can go to Experian.com, for example. You can sign up for a free account. You can get a snapshot of your FICO and of your credit score. It's generally the same with Experian and Equifax, right?
Right.
Then there's TransUnion. They're a little bit more locked down, but you can sometimes find those services attached to existing credit accounts that you've got. So your credit card, for example, may offer this service for you. Capital One does. They give you a snapshot view of your credit. American Express does. And as part of the service for your having a card with them, you can go get a look at that information free. And there are, you can set all of those things up to send you alerts if there are changes in your credit score, if somebody does a hard check on your credit or even a soft check, or like you said, freeze it, shut it off.
Yeah.
So you do have control of this stuff. It is not readily apparent if you're not monitoring. It could be non-apparent if you're not looking. Like you said, you could go for years not knowing somebody bought a house in your name somewhere.
Exactly. And you know, thing you said, if you're not looking. The other thing that I do personally is I log into all of our accounts and look at them. And we have quite a few with the business, and I look at them several times a month. And so, you know, I log into Amex, log into Chase, log into Citi, and all of those. And, you know, like you said, there is a FICO link on I think on all of them. But Chase has a FICO link. You click on that, pops up your FICO score. The other thing that Chase offers is credit monitoring, proactive credit monitoring, and they do it for free as a customer, and they also do some level of that for non-clients. And then there are businesses out there like LifeLock, IDX, and stuff that offer a little bit more comprehensive service. Those guys do it for, you know, $10 to $50 a month, depending on the level, depending on if you want monitoring the whole family, what you want them to do when something happens, the level of insurance. Chase doesn't include insurance if I have a breach, or if my credit's compromised, whereas things like LifeLock and IDX do have insurance on it. And, you know, for those, you know, there's lots of reviews of them out there. And if you're looking for more proactive credit monitoring, go out and find a trusted source that's done a review at it. You know, every financial newspaper or news site has probably done some sort of review, as have the computer magazines online have done a review of these. So you could find it at Forbes, probably Wall Street Journal, probably AARP has done reviews of these, and then find the one that fits your family and what your budget is to monitor.
What do you think about the site CNET?
Well, I think CNET's good. They have really good content on it, and trusted content. I think one thing that you got to watch out for on these sites, though, is all the paid advertisements now. And I think everybody's kind of used to that, because any news site you go to, whether it is CNN, Fox, the local KRDO, you know, KKTV, you get through the news articles, and then you have these placed things that look like news.
Yes. Yep.
And you're tempted to click on it, but then you notice a little advertisement thing. So if you're going out to CNET or PC Mag or any of those, they're selling ad space. Make sure you're clicking on an article and not a paid advertisement.
Exactly. In my radio sales days, when they rolled digital in, that was one of the products and the wide range of digital services that we were asked to offer. How we would describe this to advertising clients is that we can embed this stuff on any website and make it it will take on the appearance of the website. It'll morph itself into looking like something that website produced, and that's how you get people to click on that stuff. Then they find out it's an ad almost after the fact if they're not looking.
Yeah.
You just have to be really vigilant these days.
Yeah, very discerning. Well, it even happens in magazines now.
Yeah.
Right? Where you end up with 2 pages that look exactly like the rest of the magazine.
They look
and you
like an
start
article.
reading it and you're
Yeah.
like, wow, this magazine is suggesting I look at this supplement or something.
Mhm.
Maybe I should. And then you notice up at the top in the really tiny print, advertisement.
Paid advertisement.
Paid advertisement.
Yeah, those
So
2 words have to be there. Yeah.
be discerning when you're out there on the web.
Yeah, so this part of this discussion came from the whole idea that a service that you were used or where information that belongs to you was among 250,000 other people breached, and now it's out there in the wild. Now what do?
Now what do? You turn on, you freeze your credit, turn on credit monitoring. When there's a breach like that, they offer you a year of free credit monitoring. So try out that credit monitor. Make sure that your data is protected, by checking out the different credit bureaus. Log into your credit cards if you have them, or log into the credit bureaus on a regular basis to make sure nothing is changing. Be proactive. Don't just sign up for credit monitoring. And then if this has not happened to you, if you've not gotten a letter in the mail, the first letter I got in the mail was, I think 20 years ago. TRICARE lost a whole bunch of data. And so they're like, "You're a veteran. We are sorry to inform you that somebody stole one of our servers and now all of your data is out in the wild." So it's been a while for me, but if you've not been compromised, if you've never gotten an email that says, or a letter that says, "Sorry, Ted, your data's out in the wild," don't wait for that to happen, because it will happen. The numbers are staggering of the number of breaches that are out there with healthcare, with retail businesses, with credit card companies. That data, your data is most likely out there in the wild already. So don't wait for the letter. Go out there today, freeze your credit, sign up for some credit monitoring, or just go turn it on at your bank. Chase sends me an email probably once a week. "Dear Blake, your credit score went from this to this because of, your balance increased or your balance decreased, or, and it's a great way to monitor it. They'll send me an email if, I don't know what the threshold is, but if somebody bought a car on my credit, I would know that day. I would get an email saying, somebody, your credit balance just went up $80,000.
Yeah, they want to know, and if you're really lucky and you get the right letter, or a better letter to me is, "Hey, there's some odd activity occurring on your account. Is this you? Are you at this dealership trying to buy a car?"
Yeah.
And you get to pick up a phone, or you get to send a text or an email back and say, "No, I'm not trying to buy a car." And they can shut that down almost in real time.
Exactly. And look at the alerts on all of your credit cards and all your bank accounts. I have mine that said, "Send me an alert if over $500 is spent on a credit card." And you can go to Costco now and spend $300 in a heartbeat, right? But rarely am I over $500, and if I do, and it also, if a certain balance gets above a dollar amount each month, then it'll send me alert. And so that is also another flag to watch out. Even though the credit card companies have gotten really good on credit card fraud and knowing if it's your pattern or not, I still have that out there because, I don't want to go through the hassle of making a claim against a credit card and reversing a charge.
Yeah, now, Blake, you love to help consumers and businesses alike stay safe and secure in their online lives. What are some of the quick takeaways we can offer today, since we're about, let's make sure you keep your data secure? And even after the fact, something you could not control, how do you get control if there's been a breach and it includes your data and you got that letter that nobody wants to get?
Nobody wants, yeah. If your data is actually compromised and somebody does start doing identity theft on you, then it's time to call your insurance company, call the credit cards, and see what they can do to help you out. If you signed up for IDX or LifeLock, that's part of the insurance and part of the resources they have to help you. But your bank accounts, your credit card companies do have a lot of resources and do have a lot of knowledge when that happens.
And then on the commercial side, Blake, how do you help companies cope with data breaches, either of their own or if they've been affected by a data breach?
Yeah, first of all is proactively get cybersecurity insurance, cyber insurance. that is going to help you. Even if you don't have a ton of data out there, a ton of concerns, make sure you have that, because the recovery from it gets very expensive. And, you don't want to be, having to send out these letters on your own dime, sign your clients up for credit monitoring on your own dime, and trying to repair your reputation on your own dime. Make sure you get cyber insurance. The risks are real out there. And it does happen to people that just aren't, paying attention. And this was a medical billing company. This was a company that was working for UC Health. It was working for major companies all over the country. These guys supposedly knew what they were doing, and it was a big company. Small companies, all companies are at risk.
Yeah, the bad guys are. Yeah, we used to like to say they're in your backyard. They're on your couch. They're that close. They're not far away, and they're using artificial intelligence, chat GPT, and things like that. We've talked about that in the previous installment of Cybersecurity Heads Up, where that stuff is so sophisticated. You often get a request from somebody to do something that involves company money because somebody's trying to get it from you. You may not be able to tell the difference between whether it's a bad guy or your actual boss, because it looks and sounds like your actual boss.
Exactly. You can go use ChatGPT to go write an email in. Let's say you live in India, and you write it in like you would in an Indian business in their language. You paste that into ChatGPT and you say, write this like an American business person would write to their CEO. And it will spit it out using active voice and everything else. And you take it. So it's an interesting time. So
it's a nightmare in the wrong hands.
Business and make sure that you protect your business with the right tools, the right technology.
Let's go one more step too, because in my just sort of delving into the cybersecurity side of the world, in the commercial space, government contracting space, you've got to be insurable. You have to be insurable. And those criteria can be tough, can they not, for you to qualify for cybersecurity insurance?
That's a fantastic point. So when you sign up for cyber insurance, they will send you this questionnaire. Do you do this, this, and this? And, there's probably 30 questions there. If you're unsure and you guess and say, yes, we have that, 6 months down the road, you have a cyber incident, then there's a good chance that the insurance company is going to go, we don't have to pay that one out because they lied to us. And so you want to make sure when they're asking you about, do you have multi-factor authentication in place? Do you have managed detection and response? Do you have, logs that you're monitoring? That kind of stuff. That when you attest to that you're telling the truth, and that you're 100% sure that you're telling the truth, which gets, pretty concerning. So for our clients, we have our senior engineers go through these questionnaires with them, because then we can, we're attesting, helping them attest. It still is the client attesting, but if we mess it up, they're going to come after us. So
pass-through's not fun, and those breaches per instance, if you are found to be liable for them, used to be $25,000 per instance. I think that number is going up. You could be in trouble.
It depends on your industry, right? Yeah. So healthcare, different industries have different penalties out there, and that's just the penalties. We've helped out a few clients doing incident response, where we sit down with, we get a call from the insurance company, and they say, hey, can you go help out company XYZ? And we go help them do the recovery. And it has been very eye-opening what the process is. When we get on, there's, the insurance company and the cyber response team are all high-paid individuals, and they have, daily calls with a couple attorneys, a PR person, the cyber guys, the IT guys. We're talking, thousands of dollars an hour on these calls that you're burning through to do it properly. And then the lost business. We worked with a company that was down for 3 weeks. They had sites in multiple locations that were encrypted and 50 minutes, and they were down for 3 weeks. They could not manufacture anything they were supposed to. So that's why we need cyber insurance.
You got 40 or 50 employees, and you're a government contractor. You're doing multi-millions of dollars of business per year. Your burn rate can be hovering around $1.5 million per hour that you're not operating, and then you've got breaches that you've got to pay for because you didn't do something right, or you attested to something that you shouldn't have attested to. You can prevent all that. You get with a company like yours, Blake, that do you not do cyber audits? And you, like you said, you have people sit with your senior engineers and they walk through this list of questions with you to make sure that all of those bases are covered, right?
Right. And I wouldn't say prevent is not exactly the right word. We can mitigate a lot of the risks. But, just like driving a car or anything else, you can have the best tires, best brakes, everything else, but stuff can still happen because we have humans that are still operating a lot of this technology. And you look around the companies and the businesses that have been breached, and these are companies that have what should be phenomenal cybersecurity. There's government entities that have been breached. I think it was Equifax was breached. These are companies that have massive armies protecting them from the bad guys that are out there. So it's never prevent. It's significantly reduce the risk, and hopefully the bad guys go for a softer target.
That's just it. You can make yourself a less soft target, right?
Right.
You're right. I gotta give you that one. I may not be using the perfect language to describe it. You can't prevent the stuff. You can't control what the bad guys are doing, but you can make yourself, you can protect yourself better in the event something like that does happen. Is that a better way to say that?
Yeah. Well, and when you're out there trying to find an IT company or trying to find an IT guy to help you out, beware of the ones that guarantee that you won't get breached, because it's a lie. And there are guys out there, there are companies out there that say, we guarantee you won't get breached or whatever. That's dangerous because there is, it's a battle every day that's going on. And the smart guys that are out there that are trying to attack your business, they keep getting smarter too. These are not just idiots down in a basement, mom's basement, hacking away. These are corporations that, these bad actors are corporations with profit and loss statements and boards of directors and all this other stuff. And they are after you personally and as a business.
So they're looking for weak targets. They're doing their own form of penetration testing, right? Yeah. They're poking at your network all the time. And if they find one little hole and they get in, you're potentially done.
Could be.
Be smart.
Be smart. Do everything you can to protect yourself.
Yeah. Don't get those. You can't prevent getting those letters. You can't, but you can do things to mitigate the potential after effects. You can do things to prevent somebody from getting your identity, even if they have your information.
Right.
Yeah. So some simple things that you can do, some higher level stuff that you need to do. Blake, if I'm a commercial operation, if I'm a DoD contractor and I want to have my systems checked, how do I go about asking you to do that, for example?
So you can reach out to us. Our website's www.coloradosupport.com. You can also find us on LinkedIn, and our phone number is 719-439-0599, and just reach out to us. And we do commercial businesses, primarily government, contractors, healthcare. If it's residential, we have some other friends as businesses that we refer people to. Feel free to give us a call and we'll send you in that direction. Just make sure that you have a good, solid IT company with a deep bench to help protect you. Because if you don't have that, then the risks go up.
Deep bench means a good body of knowledge, a lot of seasoning on the team, a lot of experience. in seeing the signs, spotting the vulnerabilities, understanding and helping you manage and mitigate the risk here as a contractor or commercial operation. Then on the personal side of things, you should pay attention to Blake's videos on LinkedIn and on YouTube at CC. Look up Colorado Computer Support on any of these channels, and either videos, your Cyber Saturdays or the Tuesday Tech Tips, it's all useful, valuable, relevant information every time I see them. I learn something new that I should know. Now I'm starting to figure out what I don't know. And you should know what you don't know.
You should know. Just Google us, Colorado Computer Support.
That's it.
You'll see our videos pop up right away. I think we're over 400 videos now, and so
yeah.
If I was watching Netflix this weekend, there's nothing good on all these streaming services. We've seen it all. Watched Yellowstone. Watched 1923. Watched Rabbit Hole, any of these shows, any of the good ones. Now it's down to the horrible ones. So now you can go watch Colorado Computer Support's videos if you've burned through all the other streaming services.
You've seen, I think, one of the consummate grumps on the big screen or the small. Kevin Costner is a great grump. He's got some serious stuff to be grumpy about.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. So Blake, I always am tempted to say we're going to be back here in a couple of weeks with another cybersecurity heads up, operating out of here, the Veterans Voice Studio, our technology partner, Colorado Computer Support. We're on the campus of Mount Carmel Veterans Service Center in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I'm always tempted to ask, what do you want to talk about next? But you know what? It's always worth the wait because the world changes so dang fast, and somebody always does something stupid that we need to tell people about so that they don't get bitten.
Exactly. There will be something new and interesting in 2 weeks. And if not, we could talk oscilloscopes. We could talk about, I don't know, going from the rotary phone to the push button phone, then to caller ID. Remember that? So we've got lots of stuff we can talk about. Yeah,
caller ID happened after star 69.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, don't ruin next week's show. Or 2 weeks.
Sorry. So, no spoiler alerts. We go from low tech to high tech to cover your rear end, right?
Exactly. So, but I appreciate you having me here, and look forward to doing it again in a couple weeks. I'll be in town, so it'll be good.
Good news for us that you'll be here. All right, we'll watch for your next videos. Again, quick Google search on Colorado Computer Support. We'll turn those up. Enjoy them. Yeah, give yourself a break from Netflix, just like Blake said. We'll be back in a couple of weeks.
All right. Thanks, Ted.
Thanks, Blake.